Hey, good afternoon, guys and girls. Today we're looking at part two of our conditional crash course for my Russian students and, of course, for all of you other followers who are interested in improving your English. So in the first video, we went over some basics about first and second conditional, right? So if you haven't watched that video yet, check it out before you watch this, otherwise you might get lost. So more or less, we went over real and unreal conditionals, basics, constructions. Today we're going to go further with that, some more advanced forms, and hopefully make clear how these constructions are formulated, how they're different from each other, and so on. First of all, the conditional we're talking about right now is called third conditional. And third conditional is a hypothetical or imaginary past situation, as well as an imaginary or hypothetical past result. Whereas second conditional is an imaginary or hypothetical present situation with imaginary, hypothetical present or future result, right? So our basic construction for third conditional is going to be our if word, right? Past perfect. Past perfect meaning what? Had plus the third form of the verb. That's past perfect. That's going to be our condition, our situation part of the statement, okay? The result of this is going to be would have third form, okay? So model have third form, well, could have third form, might have third form, anything like that. Whenever we use that construction, model have third form, that always references a past result. If we are just using model plus infinitive, that is going to reference a present or future result. Very big difference and very important for today's material. All right, so a couple examples for you. Let's see. Saturday evening, two of the most entertaining fighters I can think of off the top of my head, Donald Cerrone and Tony Ferguson. Explosive guys, knockout power. I mean, these guys go, go, go. They have engines that do not stop. So every one of their fights is something exciting and crazy. So what happened was at the end of the second round, Ferguson hit Cerrone maybe a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds after, maybe not even 2 seconds. It's hard to judge. After the bell. I mean, it exploded Cerrone's nose more or less. So he had a ton of blood here. So try breathing with a bunch of blood clogging your nasal passages. Pretty tough to do, especially when you're trying to breathe and get oxygen to your brain. So what did Cerrone do? He went to his corner and he attempted to blow his nose. So that's a big no-no for any fighter. It's a new mistake. Cerrone even admitted it. Because what happens when you blow your nose? The oxygen, basically under the skin and the blood, it can swell the damage there, more or less. And that's what happened. Completely closed his eye. It looked hideous. And the fight was called off due to that. Very disappointing. They still had another round to go at it. I mean, they're banging. If Cerrone had not blown his nose, the fight probably wouldn't have been called off because his eye wouldn't have swelled to the size it did. If the construction is, let's say, in negative form, so if Cerrone hadn't blown his nose, it means what? It means he did blow his nose in the past, right? Okay. And the referee wouldn't have called off the fight, meaning what? The referee did call off the fight in the past. So always, third conditional just expresses the past opposite of the reality. Okay, so if the statement's in positive, it means it didn't happen. The same idea. All right, so we're getting to mixed conditionals now. So mixed conditionals, when we take part of a conditional, like let's say the situation of second conditional, and we take the result of third conditional. And when we do that, we express still an imaginary idea with an imaginary result. However, the references of time are different. Or we can also take the condition of third and the result of second. And again, we're expressing something quite different. If I had eaten lunch earlier, now I would not be hungry. If I had eaten lunch, that's third conditional, right? I wouldn't be hungry now, that's second conditional. So that's what we call a mixed conditional form. Always unreal, right? When we use these mixed forms, they're not real at all. Now, if I were to say in third conditional this, if I had eaten lunch, I wouldn't have been hungry. That's simply third conditional. But when we use would it plus infinitive, could plus infinitive, that always references a present or a future result. Tracking me? I hope so. Okay, Now I can also do that same thing if I just take the situation of second with the result of third. So let's see. I have some students who have bad habits of not doing their homework, right? They come to class unprepared, and I'm trying to expand on what I taught them in the previous lesson. But it's hard to do that when they don't practice for themselves and they think that they're just going to magically absorb everything I tell them and train them on for that 2 hours a week. I would tell this client, hey man, if I were you, second conditional, if I were you, I would have done that homework 3 days ago. I would have done that homework a day or two after our last lesson because it would have still been fresh in your head. Now that's second conditional, third conditional, mixed form, okay? So I think that's it for today. We went over third conditional and mixed forms. Now, you got any questions about this? Something that's not clear? Shoot me a message if you're watching YouTube here. Send me a DM on Instagram. If you're watching on VK or Facebook or whatever, write me. If you're interested in English lessons, of course, write me too. I do Skype. My Skype info is here available for you. Face-to-face lessons on Skype, however you need it. I have a flexible schedule, and we'll be happy to help you take those steps in achieving what you need in English. So, see you soon.